talk about conditions. Good morning, Bill. How are you today? Welcome.
I'm doing great. Thank you, Dave. Thanks for having me in on this warm day.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful warm day in Colorado. What'd you get, about 12 feet of snow last night?
By the way, I just want to lay it out right now. I hate you. You're all like, hey, we're going over to the pool this afternoon. I'm working on my tan. Oh, it's hot. I need to dip my toes. Shut the hell up, okay? I've had
I
it.
got the air conditioner on right now. I got to turn it up, as a matter of fact. I'm
Insult to
sweating.
injury continues.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. But hey, it's kind of cool. You had a great Zoom meeting last night, right?
We had so much fun. So last night we invited all of our members from the surf fishing section over onto our Zoom meeting, and we wanted to cover a bunch of different subjects. One subject in particular was, what questions do you have? And I know as time goes on, the members will have more questions. So what questions do you have? We wanted to try to answer all those questions. We talked a little bit about having more Zoom meetings. We talked a little bit about getting together for On the Beach Surf Fishing Clinic coming up here just for the members. That's going to be awesome. Me and my buddies are going to teach them right on the sand exactly how to surf fish, how to find fish at the beach, how to rig, how to hook baits, how to fish those baits. We're going to teach them all that right on the beach in our small group. And I'm going to have my buddies along with me who've got 20, 30, 40 years of experience. So we talked a little bit about that. And then last but not least, we talked about, Dave, one of the most important things about fishing. Well, Boy Scouts too, I guess. Be prepared. Being prepared in advance. And like Dave, I don't know how many times you have taken passengers out on your boat and you've seen passengers who are unprepared for fishing. You get to the spot, maybe you drop the hook on the spot. You say, hey, we're in 60 feet of water. Everybody drop to the bottom. And you've got people tying hooks on at that point. It just drives me surf fishing crazy to have people, detach their fishing rod, throw it in the trunk of their car, drive down to the beach, meet me there in the dark, and then they don't even have their line through their guides. So we took some time yesterday to talk about preparing in advance for the beach, how we do that, both from an equipment standpoint to a condition standpoint. And we had a fantastic discussion. We spent about an hour and a half, an hour and 40 minutes or so on the Zoom meeting, and we had to end it because it was getting too late. We had hours of stuff to talk about. So we're having a great time. I don't know about you guys, but we personally are having a really, really good time. I'm digging this.
Yeah, Matt Ryan went out last night. He's a member of your bundle there, and he went out and loaded up on the squid last night. I'm trying to download his video, but that's why he didn't make it. He was loading his freezer. He took advantage of what I've been talking about since Friday, the invasion of squid. And it's pretty much, you can just go anywhere in 100 feet of water and turn your light on, Bill, and you get attacked. It's crazy right now.
Listen to this, Dave. I got a really good report yesterday morning, so would have been the night before, of a guy fishing at the wharf, which they call the pier in Santa Barbara the wharf. So don't get confused there. At the wharf in Santa Barbara, he not only caught 7 really big yellowfin croaker, but a whole bucket full of squid right from the pier. And he told me just from the lights on the pier alone, they were floating, and nobody had a net, but he said they would just snag them. So this body of squid is phenomenal.
Oh my God. It is absolutely incredible. Everybody's been wondering where Pablo is. Here he is, gang.
Yay, Pablo's back.
Pablo's joining Bill and I. Can you hear us, Pablo? No, can't hear us. He's kind of here, gang. He's close. He's kind of here.
He's getting here.
But that's good to know, Bill, because we had a member on the website yesterday ask me if there's an opportunity to catch it off the pier. I've never heard of such a thing. So that's incredible.
Yeah, remember when they were, well, of course you do. Remember when they were running off of Newport Beach, those giant squid? That was the only real other time, and they were getting them off the end of the Newport Pier.
Oh, absolutely.
That I remember them, around the pier or so. But it doesn't surprise me. What I'm waiting to see is them in large number in the back of a harbor somewhere. we're going to see that one of these days. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, there's so much squid right now. It's just absolutely incredible. But I'm glad you guys had such a great time. Everybody that's jumping in here saying what a great time they had last night, getting to sit and talk with you on the Zoom call. Just wonderful opportunity. There's nothing like this out there for anybody. I don't know anybody else that's doing it. Maybe on the East Coast, somebody's doing it, but they're not telling anybody about it. But we got the most magical thing going on with your saltwater guide and our zillions of followers and our live fishing shows and our Zoom meetings and our opportunity to talk to Bill. When you become a member of Bill's Bundles gang, that opens up a whole new door where you get to walk in. Pretty much you're in Bill's house. You're talking to him right there behind him. That's his workshop. And like Bill says, there isn't anything in his store that he wouldn't personally use. So it's not like you're going to a tackle store with a bunch of garbage in there. So when Bill's talking, those of you that want to surf fish, you're getting the real stuff. I don't know anybody else that's doing that. I know there's some tackle stores that do a little thing here and there to sell some tackle, but the people that are selling it never really used it, so they don't really know.
Mm-hmm.
Here you get the real thing. This website, this whole thing was built by fishermen for fishermen. Kind of different than anything else out there. Pablo's kind of trying to come back. Let's see. Pablo, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Woo!
Yay!
Pablo's in the building.
He's back.
What's up, everybody?
Good to see you, man. A lot of people wondering what happened to you. We'll take a minute out of Bill just to explain where you've been, Pablo.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Yeah, nothing super glamorous or anything like that. Now's kind of the time to get everything done before the end of the year. So I've been doing boat stuff, maintenance stuff, and then also the old guy maintenance stuff, getting all my stuff for the end of the year with benefits and all that. So had a lot of that stuff going on, a lot of family stuff, but everything's good. Just kind of needed a minute to get myself back on the right track here, so to speak, physically, all that stuff. And yeah, everything's good. Just haven't been going out that much. So I took the opportunity with the downtime just to start doing stuff that I can never do when I'm super busy. So yeah, it's just been relatively slow for me. So it's just a strange time. This time last year, I was running almost every day of the week lobster fishing, and this year might get one a week. So it's been a little slower than I would like, for sure. But yeah, gonna address that probably on Friday with some Black Friday specials to try to get people out and excited to go lobster fish.
Well, yeah, you're back on the show now, so hopefully you can be back on the show every week, and you can talk about your business. You can talk about charters and everything. Hopefully bring you back on here on Friday. Justin, you, me, Al, and Bill announcing some Black Friday stuff going on, what we got, what's going to happen, how you can move forward with us. But I think everybody, to be perfectly honest, I think everybody was waiting to see what would happen. And then the miracle happened. And I think now people are going to understand it's okay. You can actually spend a little bit of that money you've been hanging on to, because I think everything's going to be okay. I think we're all going to be all right now. So that may be the reason why. I know nobody else that I talked to is really running any trips either, Pablo, but nobody else has the power of your saltwater guide. Bill Varney's, he set up his bundles on here and bam, next thing you know, he's got a dozen people.
That's true.
Nowhere.
Amazing.
So I think that there's a lot of power with your saltwater guide, Pablo, and you being back on the show. I think there's some people here that are stoked to see you back on here and excited to go fishing with you.
Absolutely. Pablo, I watch the financial news every day. I'm a big economist guy, and they have said that recently, over the last week or so, that billions of dollars have been on the sidelines as everybody waits to see which direction the country's going in. And I really feel that that's not only true for so many companies, but it's been really true for a lot of individuals too, who really haven't wanted to go out on a limb, waiting kind of to see what's going to go on and what their future is going to bring. So hopefully things will turn around here and just get wide open.
And I just threw your QR code up on the screen, Pablo, and those are the people that are driving around listening. Go ahead and throw out your phone number. Let them know they can call you. You're going to answer the phone. You're back in the game. I don't know. We lost him again. His phone number is 619-431-3070, gang. You can give him a call. Pablo, thanks for checking in with us. Sorry about that, Bill. We just had to let everyone know Pablo's still around.
That's good. I don't laugh. I miss Pablo, and I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him in a couple of weeks, maybe, on Facebook with any postings of catches or just general stuff. So we all did wonder where you disappeared to. We're glad you're back.
There you are. You're back. Tell everybody how they can get a hold of you real quick. And then
okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on today. I mean, it's 2024 and AT&T keeps saying that I'm going to get some really good internet one day, but so far it's not happening. We're in a little rural area here, but yeah, my phone number is 619-431-3070. I'd love to get out on anybody's boat or get anybody out on mine. Doing some Black Friday specials, going to be biased to your Saltwater Guide members, of course. They're going to get the ultimate deal on I'm going to open it up on Friday, so just stand by for that announcement. Anybody that's curious, give me a call, and if you're a Saltwater Guide member, you're going to get the extra hookup for Black Friday, and then everybody else will kind of get a hookup. Not kind of, they're going to get a good deal, but Saltwater Guide members are going to get the Rockstar friends and family deal. So and again, remember guys, rock fishing, I know it ends December 31st, but not here, man. Not in San Diego, because we go just south of the border right there, and we load up on those suckers all year long. The islands, the rock pile, everything is right here in our backyard. So I'd love to get you guys out if you want to stay in the U.S. waters before December 31st. And, of course, hoop netting all the way till March 20th. So, yeah, stand by for the deals, and I'm going to be open up basically 3 open parties, and then you guys will get all information on Friday. I'll put it in the community and everything, and we'll go from there, and we'll get out there.
Beautiful. Yeah, there's a bunch of people. Jason Cutter, John Stanley, Jeanette, Robert, everybody's saying hi, Pablo. They all missed you.
Oh, yeah, I see it. Yeah.
Your phone's going to start ringing. Things are going to start happening.
Right
We're
on.
all
Hi,
excited.
everybody.
So thank you for joining us for a few minutes here today, Pablo. And remember, Friday, we're going to announce a whole bunch of cool stuff. Pablo will be with us, Justin, myself, Bill. We'll all be here. We'll all have some great things to talk about on Friday. Plus, we'll be talking about wind turbines. Friday's show is going to be incredible, gang. We're going to go back-to-back Friday, and then the following Friday, we're bringing in a bunch of special guests to talk about this wind turbine thing, because it has a very, very, very profound effect on fishing. Very big, profound effect on fishing. Like, most people don't even understand it. When you're doing the oil drilling and the oil, building the oil platforms and all that, that is good for fishing. What they're doing with this wind turbine, bad. There's no upside to it, no matter what you all want to believe, no matter what garbage you've been fed. We're going to get down and dirty and talk about the real effects of this. And it's, when you get to hear what's really going on, it's going to devastate you. You're going to go, there's no way that's happening. Well, it absolutely is. And there's hard evidence. And we're going to do that same thing that they're doing to devastate the fisheries on the East Coast. We're going to do this on the West Coast, gang. So just get ready. We're going to devastate. The people that think that they're saving fishing are the people that are absolutely destroying the environment at a level that we can't even comprehend. You can all say whatever you want. You can watch the show on Friday if you really want to. But you know what, Bill and Pablo, the people that need to watch it they won't watch, because they don't want to hear facts and they don't want to hear truth. But those of you that do care about the environment, those of you that do care about fishing, please tune in on Friday. It's going to be insane. You're going to learn so much that you had no idea about. Another really cool show, Bill. I don't know if you've seen this new show on, I think it's Paramount, but it's called Landmen with Billy Bob Thornton.
Oh, I haven't seen that. I saw a little clip out of that. It was really good. He was talking about wind turbines.
Oh, yeah, he talks about it a lot, baby.
And Billy, he's got a lot of knowledge about how much cement is used in the building, how long they last, how many gallons of lubricant is used, how long that lubricant lasts. To be honest with you, because he's buzzed most of the time, I was really surprised at how knowledgeable he was about the subject.
It's a great show because there's no wokeness in it. It's pretty cool. All right.
Hey, Pablo, I have a question for you. I don't know if you can answer it, but it's such a gray area. So when you're fishing in Mexico and you catch a cow cod, you can catch a cow cod there. As long as your boat's floating in Mexican waters, you could cook it up and eat it for lunch, but you cannot bring it back into the United States. Now, on the other hand, when you're in Mexico and you catch a black sea bass, not only can you eat it on the boat or wherever you are in Mexico, but you can fillet it and bring those fillets back into the United States. Is that how you understand the law to be for those two?
I think we lost him again. He's frozen up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He looks like a zombie.
He's very calm.
Yeah. So the way I read it, Bill, is you're not supposed to bring, if you have a black sea bass and you didn't declare that you were going to fish in Mexico, I don't think you can bring it in. And then as far as the federal thing on the cow cod, you can't have cow cod. There he is.
Period. Yeah.
Did you hear that question, Pablo? No, it's not working, Pablo. We got to do this another time.
Darn it.
We can't get him.
Yeah, what I understand, because I remember hearing Fish and Game talk about it a little bit, is that if you are bringing the black sea bass back into California, you have to declare it prior to crossing the border. So you're right. If you have your fillets and maybe you've got them even bagged and labeled as grouper or whatever, black sea bass grouper, and you come across the border and you don't have your correct paperwork, you're in trouble.
Right. And really that black sea bass thing, Bill, if you did it the way that the law says, you're going to have a piece of meat that weighs 75 to 80 pounds. It has to be whole. If you're going to fillet the black sea bass, you've got to leave that meat, a slab of it. Let's just say you caught 150-pound black. So let's say the fillets weigh around 60 pounds a piece. You can't cut it into pieces and put it in a bag. So once you fillet it, you have to take it, and then you have this giant slab that won't even fit in a trash bag. So gill and gut it, keep it whole, get into America, declare that you have it, and then take it to the dock, and then hang on to your hat because you're in for a whole bunch of problems. Every tree hugger in the world is going to jump all over you. You're going to have fish and wildlife that aren't educated, and they're going to have that problem. You're going to have to take off time from work to go explain yourself, all for a piece of meat that you could have gone to Point Loma Seafood and bought.
Really, let them do the work. Well, you know, a good example of how that all falls apart was this year with the salmon fishery in California. So salmon was closed in the state of California this year, but it wasn't closed in Oregon. So you could go across the border, literally, into Oregon and catch a salmon. But in order to bring it back into so you live in California, in order to bring it back into California, you had to declare it in writing prior to crossing the border. And then the Department of Fish and Wildlife gave notice to the California Highway Patrol that any motorist pulling a boat south from Northern California south was to be pulled over and checked to see if they were carrying any salmon and if they had done the correct paperwork. So it just gets so complicated that you just give up doing it, type of thing.
And I believe before what happened 2 weeks ago, I believe that was the plan. Mm-hmm. If you really want to get down and dirty and honest, I think the plan was to make it so complicated,
Mm-hmm.
and so they could say they didn't close fishing, but for guys like you and me, they just made it impossible to actually do it, to actually be involved in the act of fishing. And until what happened 2 weeks ago, I thought we would be back to the days like Michael Folks's films, where the only people that could afford to fish or can go fishing have a suit and tie on.
Right. Yeah.
Like if you look at Michael Folk's history of fishing, and you look at the olden days fishing over at Catalina and stuff, those guys are wearing suit and ties. The women are wearing gowns. It's the craziest fishery you've ever seen.
It really is, really that occurred really into the 50s. And everybody would, the men would wear slacks and a shirt and a tie, and a wool blazer was a common thing. And the city of Los Angeles, who managed Catalina, which was really kind of a dumping ground for goods coming back and forth up the coast, they had a giant sailboat in around 1900. And they would take dignitaries and others across from LA Harbor over to Avalon. And the boat was not only this beautiful sailboat, but all of the city workers who worked on it had a specific sailor's uniform that they wore. So people they would catch 200 albacore in a day and all the blood and guts along with it, but they looked fantastic all of the time.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I kept visioning our fishery here on the West Coast to turn into something like that. Now I think I was talking to a hot uppity that Bonnie, who's the president of the commercial fisheries in Montauk area back east. She's going to join us next Friday on the show to talk about how horrible the effect of this wind turbine is on the commercial fisheries. And we both believe in our heart, even though she, just like the whole administration, if you look back, their pedigree, they were all on the other side. They were all hardcore other siders. Now they're over on the other side because that side just left them standing there. None of their policies even made sense to real people. And we both believe now we have an opportunity because we're actually going to be able to be heard, which is a big thing, Bill. As you went to many meetings, they just kind of gloss over us. We get 30 seconds to tell our story, which is pretty spectacular for a guy like you and me to get a whole 30 whole seconds to tell our story. But that's all they would give us. Now I think we got someone in the up there that's going to actually go, what? You want to close what? You want to close fishing? You want to stop my grandkids from, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? Where the other side was all, yep, let's stop it now.
Yeah.
Something that you were talking about, that salmon fisheries closed and now they're sniffing around thinking about opening it. But I got into a heated conversation with a gentleman on one of those social media platforms the other day because he was saying we need to leave it closed for another year or so to let it build. And I was like, well, we have nothing to do with the population. You and me and Bill fishing with our fishing pole, getting our one salmon we're allowed. That has zero effect on the population. If anybody that actually cared about salmon would do something about the California sea lion, pretty much problem solved. That would end all the problems. But
exactly.
That's the real problem. Not commercial fishermen, not Bill throwing out a lure on his surf rod. That'll never, you could stop Bill and I from fishing for the rest of our lives, but as long as that sea lion's sitting at the mouth of every river, you'll never have a spawn again. You won't. But no one wants to talk about the true problems. And like Bill and I were talking about yesterday when we weren't even on the show, Bill, for the first time in his life, and he's been surf fishing for, gosh, long as I've been alive, never saw a sea lion in the surf eating perch. You do now, huh?
You do now. And I've seen them from Santa Barbara to the Mexican border now. I never, ever saw one. Believe it or not, I've seen 3 whales in the surf. Okay. One may have been feeding, the other 2 were breeding. But I had never seen a seal or a sea lion or harbor seal in the surf ever. And now we see these juvenile sea lions sitting on the bottom in 1.5 feet of water eating perch. So that is never a good sign, because that's just not natural. It's absolutely not natural. Did that maybe happen 100 years ago when I wasn't alive? I don't know. But I've been down there for 60 years now, and I'd never seen it before. And in the last 2 years, I've seen it half a dozen times. So that's never a good thing.
And the reason why I keep bringing it up, gang, and I know a lot of you are like, oh, here he goes, sea lions again. Until you all are on the same page we are, and when you start to listen to these people talk about another closure and another closure and another closure, you always have to ask the individuals, what about the California sea lion? That is the true, there's two problems in California, or any coastal community. California sea lion and urban runoff, period. Those are really the only problems. Those are the two problems that nobody wants to address. They love to go after Bill Varney and Dave Hansen. We're the lowest hanging fruit on the tree. They're going to pluck us off, stop us from fishing. It won't solve anything. But, oh, boy, it'll make them feel good because they got control over Bill and Dave. You didn't solve anything. As long as you allow that urban runoff just to flow into the ocean, free flow every time it rains, and all that trash go in the ocean. And I don't know the answer to that question either, but I do know that there needs to be something done there. And then the California sea lion. Those are really, to be perfectly honest, again, those are the only two real problems.
That is, you have hit the nail on the head, man. Number one, water quality. Without question. That has everything to do with our situation, in particular in the Santa Monica Bay and the Long Beach area. Water pollution, you can talk all about effluents and bacteria and all of those things. But what's most important is it changes the clarity of the water. In other words, it makes the water murky, or the scientists use the term turbid. The turbidity reduces the amount of sunlight that can make its way through the water. And so all of the things that grow, that start from the beginning, the algae and everything that grows after that, can no longer grow in those areas. And then it's exacerbated by an overpopulation of pinnipeds who have to find other sources of food. That, I mean, you think an angler, we got all these surf fishermen who go down to the beach, right? And we got maybe like 1/10 of them at the most who keep fish, and they keep 5 or 6, 10 that they can keep, but maybe they get 4 or 5 or 6 perch that they keep. That has zero effect on the biomass. Thousands of sea lions sitting on the bottom in the surf, eating one after another, does more damage in 5 minutes than anglers in a year. So these are our big problems. These are the things we need to tackle.
Absolutely. Let me show you a video. Thank you to Okuma. If it's not for Okuma, we can't do the show. It's Okuma Wednesday. Bill and I love Okuma products. Check out this spinning reel real quick, and we'll get right back to this phenomenal topic.
Hey guys, this is John Bretz with Okuma Fishing Tackle. What I have here is one of the most exciting introductions of the year, the new X Series spinning reel, our flagship spinning reel. And what's amazing about this is Okuma was able to build a reel that's the best of both worlds. You got a tournament bass reel as well as an inshore spinning reel. So both freshwater and saltwater applications, 2,500, 3,000, and 4,000 sizing, starting at 7 ounces. Super lightweight. But what's nice about it is it's very rigid, so you want to use it for inshore. It's a lightweight and rigid aluminum body and aluminum side plates. To keep it lightweight, we have our cyclonic flow rotor, which is injected out of C40X. So again, very lightweight, very corrosion resistant. As everybody knows, you want a good drag system. This is equipped with our carbonite drag system. The 2,500 and 3,000 output 22 pounds of max drag. When you get to the 4,000, it outputs 24 pounds of max drag. These are 6.2 to 1 gear ratios, so when you turn that handle, you're picking up a lot of line with every turn. This is accomplished by a machined aluminum, CNC cut, AL70 aluminum drive gear. That aluminum drive gear is also anodized, so again, perfect for both fresh and saltwater applications. One of the great features that we have in this is what we call hydroblock body. So these are a set of water seals that prevent water intrusion. So that's going to be a good complement for both freshwater and saltwater applications. The other great thing is you have the machined aluminum handle that can be put on the left or right hand. It threads directly into the drive gear. It's a really thin profile, so lightweight, but super strong. The advantage of this for both fresh and saltwater anglers is that when you pull back, there's no back play at all. One is that helps from the one-way roller bearing, but also the screw-in design helps eliminate any of that back play tolerance. Another amazing part of this reel for you inshore anglers is that you'll notice on the bottom there's no on-off selector for the anti-reverse. Why did we do that? That's another source for water to intrude into the reel. So we left that out. The majority of freshwater anglers aren't back and reeling these days, so this is a great addition to this reel that's going to make it really durable for both freshwater and saltwater applications. And the other thing that's really nice is it's a one-piece seamless bail, so there's no area for braided line to hang up in those small little groove connections. This is one-piece connection all the way around. This is an 11 bearing drive reel, so you can expect super smooth performance, super durable, long life performance out of this reel. It starts at a $219 retail for the 2500 size. If you want to find out more details on the new X Series spinning reel, check it out at okumafishingusa.com.
And then you know how much you love to use their reels, Bill.
That is one fabulous reel, man. I love that reel. It's so smart, that they took this time to make the rubber gaskets in order to, in the spots that would be somewhat open to reduce any splashing in there of sand or salt water or whatever. And then, of course, the removal of the reverse mechanism is a great thing. You and I have talked about this before. It's been years and years, and really even probably before my time, when anglers reverse the reel and use that as their drag. And I had wondered for many years, and I've had hundreds of people ask me why reels have that. And I really never, to be honest with you, I didn't know. I still really kind of don't know. And I would say well, that's a good way when you're putting your line through the guides to put it into reverse and the handle will go backwards and you'll be able to get your line out. So I'm so glad they got rid of that. It's about time that's gotten rid of. And that's a fantastic reel. I always tell everybody, stay under $100 if you can. You're going to get sand in there. But if you're passionate about surf fishing like I am, get a reel like that, take care of it. It'll last you 5 times as long as those less expensive reels. And 11 ball bearings, that's smooth as silk, baby. I mean, that is beautiful.
Absolutely. But it's super important. You're not going to let your children fish in the surf with that reel. And so you go on Okuma's website. I have it up there right now. Go to the ABF series reels. Those things start at about $55. That's a perfect beginner reel for your kids to fish in the surf because, man, let me tell you something. Even though we tell them 100 times, don't drop it in the sand. The minute they catch that fish, they want to run and show somebody, they just drop it in the sand and your head explodes. So there's too many products over at Okuma. We could have a show all day, talk about it. John Bretza was kind enough a couple months ago to come on the show and explain that back reeling thing to us. And it was set up for the old time walleye fishermen, but all spinning reels today, the new ones, are doing away with that back wind. There's no reason for it. It seals that reel and keeps it from getting a bunch of water and sand inside. So it's a great deal. So check that out. And then we have something else. I haven't had the QR code. We're going to have it. Elliot's making it right now, but Bill Varney let me know yesterday he only has about 30 of these calendars left, gang. If you want to get one of Bill's calendars, look at there's the picture of it with Wesley on the front. And if you want to order one from Bill's store, you use the Promar code 25CCA. That's going to save you $3 off of that. Or you'd go ahead and tell the story, Bill. I don't know why.
Yeah. So it's really simple. You go to surffishtackle.com, surffishtackle.com. You put the calendar or numerous calendars into your cart. You enter the code 25CCA. The calendar is $15.99. The calendar for you, and no matter how many you want to buy, will be $12.99. Free shipping, no tax. you're an idiot if you don't buy it. You can go into the local tackle shop. You can pay $15.99. You can get in your car and use $3 worth of gas. You can go in and wait in line. You can pay $15.99 plus tax. You can get back in your car and spend another $3.20 of time going back home. Or it can spend $12.99 and have it delivered right to your front door. So once again, just surffishtackle.com and just enter 25 CCA. You'll get the discount. If you have any problems at all, just give me a call or text me or email me, any one of those 3 ways, and I'll help you out. But otherwise, it should be smooth as silk. It'll be to you in about 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 days, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. And these make fantastic gifts. If you have a friend or relatives or buddies that are anglers, and you're trying to think, what can I give them that's inexpensive for Christmas but has a big impact? The sports fishing calendar is your way to go. We have packages of 5 of them with free shipping for $55. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag here right now. On Black Friday, the day after tomorrow, I'm going to put those up for 1 day only. 5 calendars, free shipping, priority mail right to your house, 2 or 3 days, $40. No tax,
Wow.
no nothing. So take advantage of that. And I'll have a code for everybody on Friday for that. I'll put it up on both on the show and on our bulletin board. I'll post it on the board inside of your saltwater guide.
There you go, on the community. Perfect.
Yeah.
And then this is why we all talk about Bill's calendars. And if you ever listen to Let's Talk Hookup, Pete, Rick, all the captains, everybody always talks about this. This is like our Bible as far as fishermen go. If you look at the calendar there, Bill, you can explain to them on the dates, what are those blue wiggly lines?
Yeah, this is Dave. This is exactly one of the things that we talked about last night in our Zoom meeting. How do you prepare for the beach? And one of the number one things you do, I guess number one would be what's the weather, but number 2 is the tides. Besides a sharp hook, tides are the most important thing about surf fishing. When we surf fish a beach like Hermosa, Manhattan, Redondo, Huntington Beach, Mission Beach, those beaches have been dredged. So we will normally fish those beaches 2 hours before high tide to 2 hours after high tide. So if you look on September there on the 3rd of September from 2023, you'll see we've got a high tide on the 3rd right in the middle of the day. That is gentleman's fishing right there, man. I'm at the beach at 10 in the morning that day to 2 in the afternoon, fishing that high tide, going up to high tide and coming off of high tide. On days where I'm fishing a dredged beach or around jetty areas, I might find that I want to fish at minus tide or a low tide day. Look at the 28th of the month. Look at how that tide goes way down. That way I can look at this and not only look at weeks in advance, I can look at months in advance of what their tides are going to be and the moon phase is going to be, and base my fishing around that. It will make me a much more successful angler than just jumping into my car and going down to the beach whenever I feel like it. So that's what these calendars help you with. They help you with the tides, the moon phase, the size of the tides, whether they're neap tides, which are small tides where we fish for halibut, or whether they're astronomical tides. Like in this on the 1st and the 2nd, the 3rd, we can see huge high tides, huge low tides. Those are astronomical tides. It allows us to figure out exactly when we need to be down on the beach and when we're going to have our very best chance of catching fish.
All right. And then the one thing I wanted to reiterate with everybody is you're all thinking, hey, okay, I'm going to save a couple bucks on Friday well, I talked to Bill yesterday and he has 30 calendars left. So if you wait till Friday, there's a pretty good chance you're not going to get one. So I don't know why you would wait to save $1 or something. I would get it now. But if you do wait, Friday is going to have that sale, but I can't guarantee you there'll be any left. So make sure you get your calendar. You're going to want one anyway, whether you're going to save $1 or $3, you're going to want one. You're going to want it because it's so much easier than to go to your phone and type in tide and go to the thing and wait for it to load. When you just look on your dash and you're like, or you look on your refrigerator and you go, yeah, tomorrow morning's the time to fish. I got this window. Look, honey, I'm only going to go from 7 in the morning till 9:30 because then the tide's over and I can't fish anymore anyway. That kind of gives, I know none of us are going home when the tide's done, but at least you could tell her kind of.
Well, you know, Dave, I mean, really, it's a practical thing. It sounds stupid, I know, because I'm so like obsessed with surf fishing. But my wife says, hey, you know, Bill, we're going to go see my brother Mike. He lives in Fort Myers, Florida, in July. What's a good week or weekend for us to go? Okay. So I get out my calendar, you know, I look up that month and I'm like, you know, the first and third weekend are like really bad weekends for us to go. But the second week, crappy tides that week, is really good week to go. We could do some shopping. I'll sit around in the used bookstore with you. I mean, I seriously look, I'm really not kidding. I look at the calendar in January, February, March when I'm sitting at home and it's raining or snowing or the wind's blowing or whatever's going on. And I really plan out my future as to what I'm going to do over the summer months. And a little secret I'll give away is that when I go surf fishing, and I have done this for over 20 years now, ever since digital cameras came in. Prior to that, I did it with non-digital, but since digital, I take every time I go surf fishing, I take a picture of the sky, the ocean, the conditions, the tide, and what I catch. So when I'm sitting here in April and I'm like, gosh, you know, I know May is like killer down at the beach. Like, what should I plan for? What can I expect? What tide should I go fishing? What times a day should I go? What bait should I use? What will I catch? I can look at my tide chart. I can see what the tides are over that month. And then I go back to all of my photographs, which now are all for the month of May, that are May 2023, 22, 21, 19, 18, 17, 2000, 1998. I can see every single year back of what I caught in the month of May, in the beginning of May, and toward the end of May. I can look at my tide chart and I am ready to rock and roll when May rolls in. I am perfectly set up knowing what the tides are going to be, what baits were successful that time of the month, what I was catching, which beaches I were fishing on, and what the tides were. So all of these things are a piece of the puzzle to be a more successful angler. As Dave says, you can either go out there and catch fish or you can go out there and suck. And, you know, the bottom line is that a famous comedian once said, there's a fine line between standing on the shore and catching fish and standing on the shore and looking like an idiot. So reduce the chances of looking like a moron out there and do a little research in advance.
And that's the cool thing about what Bill's presenting to everybody and the accessibility to Bill and the Bill's bundle, which is the conditions and what he believes you should be doing on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. There's no one else out there doing that. And Bill can pretty much look at the calendar and tell you, you want to be at Goleta Beach, you want to be at Goleta, yep. And you want to be fishing at 4 in the morning till 6:30. And then pretty much after that, go collect shells, go have breakfast, lunch, whatever, come back at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock when that tide starts again.
Yeah,
That's all gold. That's all gold. And as you cruise along and you listen to Bill and you watch what he's doing, then you don't have to be a member with us and you don't have to look at our stuff forever, but it's going to help you to put the puzzle together. I always say, Bill, when I was a kid, no one shared anything.
No.
If you got caught sharing, boy, you were going to get your butt kicked. You were going to get thrown in the bay. You were going to get chastised by the whole industry. No one shared anything, and you weren't allowed. Especially where I came from in the sport boat industry, we didn't have any private boaters back in the day, too. That's something most people don't understand.
Right.
When I grew up fishing, when I got my cap, there was no private boaters. We didn't have to worry about private boaters jumping on our spot. Once in a while, there'd be a guy with a skiff that kind of was just out there. But if you went fishing in California in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, most of the 80s, you went on a sport boat or you went on the beach, period. That was it. You don't have to believe me. That's okay. I don't really care if you do or you don't. I'm just telling you. But nowadays, with all these private boaters, back in the late 80s, early 90s, that's when I sat down with Danny Jackson and Don Brockman and Joe Bongos, and we made that series of the hotspots videos on VHS, because we all could see that there was a huge shift going into the private sector, and these private boater guys followed us around every day because there was nowhere for them to gather information. And then I helped a couple of companies launch their websites to help guys, and everything was okay. Everything. When I was helping other companies, everything was okay. But as soon as Dave started doing it on Dave's dime, oh, I was enemy number one, baby. Enemy number one.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. When I was helping everybody else, it was okay. But when I started helping Dave Hansen, that was when I became enemy number one for all these websites that are trying to sell information. But
I remember, Dave, when Mark Wish's first book came out. Into the Gray, I think, was his first book, with all the spots, all kinds of great information and a lot of spots in there. And man, the hate. I mean, that was before social media was like totally out of control like now, but the hate of people saying, how can you put these numbers out there? How can you do this? How can you let people know of these spots out here? And like, times have changed. I remember, Dave, when we were youngsters and we would work on the boat as pinheads and stuff, and the skippers would use dead reckoning. That's how they would, like, there was this off of PV, there was a gambling ship that sunk off of kind of indicator zone up there between Bluff Cove and Lanada Bay. And they would literally, like, I'd be out on the boat and the skipper would use dead reckoning. He'd say, I look at that house with the red roof over there, and then I line that up in Torrance with this smokestacks over here, and where those triangulate, that's where we're going to fish. Well, as time has changed and we've come up with GPS, for example, you can get basically right on top of a rock or a spot of some sort. So we have the ability now to take this knowledge that we know and impart it on other individuals. And that's what we're dedicated to do. Back in the day, you couldn't really say, see the house that's got a red roof up there that's 8 miles away, and see those smokestacks that are 15 miles away, and you triangulate that. You couldn't tell somebody that and they could figure it out and get on top of the spot. So we're really lucky that technology has advanced, and hopefully to some extent society has advanced and knows that by getting this information out, more people can enjoy the sport. We all can have more fun. There's plenty of fish for all of us.
Absolutely. Gang, I just threw up that QR code for our clothing. Remember, if you show up at the PCS show wearing my clothing, you get free stuff. My sponsors come out like you can't even believe. We have bags and bags and bags of cool stuff. But you got to show up to the show wearing our clothes. If you order now, I guarantee you'll have it in time for the show. It's 25% off all merchandise at our store. We have over 160 SKUs in the store. There's so much product in there, you can't even believe it. 25% off. You'll have it in time for Christmas. It makes great stuff. There's everything from underwear, socks, hats, shoes, flip-flops, jackets. We got everything you could want. So check out my store while you have time to wander around. I promise you I got cool stuff in there for you. But last year, the biggest problem we had is we came up to the time for the show, and it's the first week in March. I had people scrambling on the last week going, Dave, I don't have one of your shows. I'm coming to the show. I'm like, okay, well, this year I'll start talking about it in November. Maybe then you can order it in time. Gang, you don't want to come to the PCS show not wearing our gear, because you're going to go, wow, everybody there has a Your Saltwater Guide shirt or hat on except me. I look like a booger eater. Don't look like a booger eater. You want to look cool when you show up at the show. Bill will be there. I will be there. I had talked with Michael Folks last night. He may be making his guest celebrity appearance. we'll build them a little throne in the booth, and you can all just come and kiss the ring. I'm hoping Michael will be there. We'll have our same 20-foot long booth. It'll be right outside of our stage this year. We're not going to have it 1.5 miles away from where I'm speaking. We'll actually have it next to the stage like we have in the last 5 years. So you simply go from the stage to the booth. And the booth is basically a giant seminar anyway. You got me, Pablo, Justin, Al, Bill. We're all just in there talking about our passion. In the booth, we have so much swag in there. It looks cluttered, but everything has a spot. But everybody will be in there doing their job, kissing babies and shaking hands, gang. We're very approachable. I love when y'all show up there and come and say hi to me and bring. The thing that blows me away is the amount of people that come just to want to get a picture with me. I'm humble like you can't even believe. I'll take a picture with all of you, but it's pretty overwhelming for a dumb old fisherman like me to see all these people that appreciate me. And then I always have to go back and look. Social media, I'm looking right now. If I look at all three, or excuse me, if I look at Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, just those on the surface, we have 28 million views for the month of November. So that's a big number. So I guess there's a lot of people out there that enjoy watching us for some reason, Bill. I don't know. But Bill, I'm sorry.
Well, I don't know either, Dave, but I've got to input something here for a second about the show. I have come to the conclusion that I'm going to change something from last year. Now, last year you had your booth, I had my booth. I spent the first day or two telling every single person who came to my booth, every person, that they needed to go over and see Dave Hansen because he was giving away free t-shirts. Now, later that day, Dave came by my booth and he said, Bill, if you tell one more person they're getting a free t-shirt, not only will you go back to your car tonight and we'll have 1 flat tire, it will have 4 flat tires. So you're not going to tell everyone.
Uh-oh, Justin's got a big fish here, Bill. Big
He's
fish.
got the gaff. He's got the gaff
coming
ready.
out, everybody.
Yep. Yeah, I'm on. It's on the pulpit.
What do we got, Justin?
Oh, hey, we're on. All 3 rods are on right now.
No way. We're watching.
I'll bring the camera over there.
We're watching. Bill and I are watching. We stopped the show to watch you
Look
catch
at,
a big whopper.
there's Ron. Yeah. I'm marking. Oh, they get Paul.
Pretty exciting.
Videoing. Oh, here it comes, ladies and gentlemen. God.
Woo! Big bocat.
Yeah. How far are you? What do you have? 12. Yeah. What number you have, Paul? 50. 50. I see it. Oh, the big one. Oh, you got double here. I got one again. 30. Put it back on the thing.
Vermilion.
20 at the sunset.
Sorry.
You got 20. He needs the cat.
Oh, a chili and a vermilion. There you go. I'm done. That's my lunch.
So got you right there. Hey, I didn't get hit on the smell. Got hit on the sardine.
All right, there you go, gang. All right. Back to Bill and I. All
Wonder
right.
how deep that was.
I think he's fishing in 800 or 700 feet.
Wow.
Whew. Thank God for electric reels, right?
I know. You'd have like 2 drops a day at 700 feet and a 2-pound sash weight.
And then one thing I forgot to mention, gang. Yeah, Bill Varney will be there. Justin will be there. Pablo, Al, hopefully Michael Folks, myself. But you know who everyone's coming there to see, right? Everyone's coming there to see Kelly Girl. It's just the way it is. We'll all say hi to you after you all say hi to Kelly and get your picture taken with Kelly Girl. Then Bill and I and the rest of us will take our turn at talking to you. But we all know why you're coming. We all know you're bringing your children to meet Kelly. We all know that. But we'll all wait our turn to talk to you after you say hi to Kelly Girl. For positive. But Bill, I promised you we'd talk about conditions. We kind of gone through the whole hour, but we're going to stop for a minute and talk about conditions because conditions this week look incredible. So talk about it.
Yeah, we've got some really good conditions. Here's what's really interesting about the conditions situation. Not only offshore, as you can see, beautifully flat, calm, glassy, and 700 feet of water that's out there. So you can imagine it's really nice along the beach. Last week, we had some really good conditions. We had a little bit of rain, but there was very little wind associated with that. This upcoming week, we have a building Santa Ana today and tomorrow, all over the entire weekend. I think that will go into next week. We're going to have some beautiful conditions, not only inshore at the beach or the harbor, but offshore also. But what's really spectacular about right now, Dave, and really quite unusual, is this big south swell. We have actually 3 of them we're looking at now coming up from storms that broke off of Antarctica that are about 6,000 miles south of Southern California. They're going to send surf up our way. That is going to begin today. We're seeing a little bit of it today. It's going to be bigger tomorrow and throughout the weekend. The waves will probably be about 4 feet in height. So that's about, head high if you're standing out there. And those swells are going to come up from the south. So what happens when swells come from the south? Goodness comes from the south along with it. Warm water, clear water, and fish along with it. So because we saw a little bit of that over the last 7 days with a small northwest swell, small south swell, what it has done is created a bubble of literally warm water in the Southern California bight. We're going to see more of that coming into next week, but because the swell is so much bigger from the south than the swell we're going to see from the northwest coming down, I do think we might see the water temperature go up a couple degrees over the next 5 to 7 days. At the very least, it'll keep the water temperature right in that anywhere from, it's been maybe about 55 to 62 degree range in Southern California from Santa Barbara to the border. We're going to see the water stay in there, which is going to give us some incredible conditions for surf fishing. First of all, we're going to have a small to moderate swell both out of the south and out of the northwest. So not big surf. We're going to have very calm wind conditions, and we're going to have stable, if not warming water. We're going to have some fabulous surf fishing over the next week, bay fishing and offshore fishing. But for you people that are beach people, today, tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, unbelievably good beach days, astronomical tidal changes. So you got big tide changes, a great time to take the kids down to the beach this weekend at these low tides to go look at the starfish and the limpets and the sidewinder crabs and the mussels and everything living on those rocks down there, the tide pools. We are coming into a fantastic period for fishing the bays and the beaches right now.
That's great news. And you're going to have a lot to say about that on your game plans, right? That are coming out tomorrow.
Absolutely. Those game plans tomorrow, not only will they have the fish reports, you can see what we caught up and down the coast, but they will dial you into those surf fishing conditions with the best times, the best days, the best time of day, best tides of day are all going to be for getting out there, whether it's tomorrow, over the weekend, or into next week.
And gang, you're going to want to have stuff to do with your family and friends over this holiday season. So why wouldn't you want the best possible information you can have? So go check out Bill's. Here, let me throw the QR code up there. If you want to check out Bill's bundles, you can sign up for free for 7 days. We'll give you a free look. That'll get you through this weekend, and you can find out, is it even worth it? I'd rather just go out there personally myself and go fish and try to figure it out on my own. Not.
That's the hard way. That's the
Yeah,
hard
why
way.
would I want to catch fish when I go fishing?
But yeah, get in there and look at the dozens of articles, the videos, all of that stuff. That's all well and good. But when it boils down to it, Dave, the Zoom meeting, line up your questions, ask exactly what you want to know, what you want to learn. And then last but not least, the on the beach clinic. You cannot learn any faster or any more than being right next to me or right next to Dave or right next to Pablo or right next to anybody who's a leader here with your saltwater guide. We're going to teach you right on the sand how to catch fish. We're going to answer all of your questions, and you're going to learn so much knowledge in such a short period of time. You're not going to take 50 years like I did to learn all this stuff. You're going to learn it in a short amount of time. You're going to be able to apply it out there. You're going to be really successful down on the beach.
So if you guys, anybody in your family, you talk to them, you go, hey, my dad likes to surf fish. My wife likes to surf fish. My children are getting into it. This is a great thing to buy them for Christmas, to be part of Bill's bundles, to be part of your saltwater guide. Something like that. These are gifts that no one thinks of. These are easy gifts to purchase. You can be a part of us. All you got to do is know your friend or family's email address. We'll send them an invitation. They won't know how much it costs. We won't tell them that, but we'll send them an invitation and let them know that their membership's been paid for a year. That's a great present to buy somebody. The gift of knowledge is incredible. It'll change their life, I promise. And then those people out there that hate me, buy them a membership. Watch. It's pretty. Then they can watch me every day, watch someone they hate. That's my favorite comment, when people send me a comment saying, I watch all your videos and I hate you. What? You watch all my videos and you hate me, huh? That's amazing. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, gang. Check out the website. Check out all the great information. As normal, Bill has so much to talk about. We always run out of time, just like last night on his Zoom meeting. Zoom meeting was supposed to go for an hour, went for an hour and 45 minutes. He still had a million questions and a million things to talk about. That's why you want to be part of our community. That's why you want to be part of the greatest fishing website ever made for fishermen. Those are just a few of the reasons. Plus, we do this live show every day. The great Kelly girl and I are not doing a show tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving, gang. We're going to give thanks to everybody. We want to thank you all for following us. I think we're going to go down to the marina and have dinner. I think around 6 o'clock tomorrow night, we'll do the Grunion story like we do historically every year for Thanksgiving. Gather your friends and family around. I'll tell the Grunion story one more time every year for Thanksgiving. It's a giant hit. Those of you that know, you know. Those of you that have never heard it before, you might want to tune in. I promise you I'm going to make you laugh. It's going to be the most incredible story. People have been talking about it for years. No one can believe I actually tell that story. But I'm going to tell it one more time. Remember Grunion and Taco Bell. Those two things you got to remember. That's what the story will be like when Kelly and I get home from dinner. We have dinner every year. It's kind of been traditional, Bill. We go down to the Baja Cantina and have a Thanksgiving dinner down in the marina. It's about 85 degrees. It's terrible, terrible, terrible. And we sit there and we eat our Thanksgiving dinner. And then we come home and I usually bring a piece of flan home or something and have that for dessert. And then I'll tell the Grunion story again at 6 o'clock Pacific Standard Time tomorrow night. But no live show at noon tomorrow, gang. It's Thanksgiving. Be with your family and friends. Enjoy the day. And then Friday, super special, Mike Dean from Save the East Coast is coming on. Bill will be here. We're talking wind turbines, gang. And then the following week, we're going to bring in the president of the commercial fisheries back there, Bonnie. And she just got done doing a podcast with RFK Jr. So she's got a lot of great things to talk about and share about how we need to get in front of this, because they're going to do this in one of the biggest breeding grounds in the world off the Pacific coast. The governor's already sold the rights to 300 square miles off of Morro Bay, which is so sad. And if you don't know about it, we're going to tell you more and more about it. Gang, thank you all for watching. Have a great Thanksgiving, right, Bill?
Have a fantastic Thanksgiving. Enjoy the weekend and the day with your family.
And we'll see you Friday. Bill and I will be here with you Friday. Be kind to each other. Turn off the news. They're all lying. Now, listen, we're going to log off of here right now. Give me a couple minutes to redo the headline for the show, and then we're going to go back to Justin live fishing rock cod out at Catalina. He had a phenomenal morning. I think he told me he had 40-something fish. It was all live. He got a legal halibut. He got a bunch of short sea bass. He got Bill and I's favorite fish, sargo and yellowfin croaker. Paul's on the boat. Paul loves eating fish. Everything they caught today it's super good eating fish, white meat, all croaker, fishing in the croaker zone, trying to get a sea bass, bycatch, sargo, and yellowfin croaker. Not bad in any way, shape, or form.